maybe no. Be honest. Give me any feedback that you want.
Didn't have a lot of details as to what we were committing to, so it's like one word to go off of.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. So you just got to have fun.
So you think, what do you think? Just kidding, I won't be as sassy the rest of you. Here you go.
It was interesting to see who was on both sides, and for some, I think people found really easy, and then some were harder. Sure.
I think kind of quite a gut reaction, like, I mean, all are bad, or like win or leave, like.
Yeah. Gut reaction. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Some of my own answers surprised me.
Good.
You thought that were exactly like you, but the exact opposite.
Okay. Other thoughts? Any other observations? Yeah.
I found it interesting that even though the questions were really vague and broad, there was still a pretty even split on a lot of them between the group.
Other observations?
Because they were so vague, people could have been answering completely different questions.
Right. Good, yeah. Basically all of those things is part of the point, including Lincoln's. And so yeah, this is what being an RA is like. So if you just remember that, it'd be easy. And you're done. No. Yeah, and I think some of those things, one, my favorite thing is getting you all in the same room and actually seeing how different you are. I think there are sometimes stereotypes of what makes a good RA, and there are a lot of differences between all of you in this room. And so that is what's going to make or break next year. And I say break because it's how you engage those differences and interact with them. And also it's going to make your teams what they are. And you each are bringing strengths to the team. So leaf or wind, there are different advantages to both, right? Or teacher or student, question or answer. But you're going to be bringing those together and you're going to be bringing those to the team. And sometimes those things will be your fault too, right? And the others are going to have to pick you up or help strengthen you when those things become your fault, right? Awesome. So as broad and as weird as that activity was, we'll have some practicalities and some specifics for you today, if that's okay. I think some of you, if you guys don't mind starting to pass this out, some of you need that structure, and the hope is that Res Life can provide that for you, but the reality is that Res Life will not always provide that for you because it's Residence Life. And so that's something you need to know, and so as you're entering and thinking towards the future and knowing and hearing and talking with current RAs, talking with some returners that are in the room, as you're thinking about those things, what you need to know is that you're going to hear some stories from them, or you've seen things happen, or your own experience working with Residence Life, that it's not all cut and dry. It's not all, one of you said you want to be a cookie cutter. It's not all that. And that's where we hired you, because of your flexibility and ability to work with that and trust our Lord, first of all, but also the system and each other in that process. So you are getting right now 2 sheets. One you should have already seen and read and signed. And so if you don't remember that, then that's your copy to make sure you read it and remember it. So that is our job description. As we get into things more deeply, I realize that you might lose that or that might go away and as you move on with the summer, but please take note of it. Biggest practice I have is taking pictures of things so that I can refer to them, because we always have our phones with us, believe it or not. So it might be a good practice for you. Things can change on that sheet in May, and if they do, you'll be notified of those things. So just be aware of that. The second sheet is kind of like our guideline for today. We don't have a ton of time left, but a lot of that's just an FYI for you. You'll see on there, I didn't keep my copy. Do you have any more? Did you have an extra? Yes, that's it. So as you look on that sheet, basically, as you all wanted to know, coming in today, this is when you'll get paid next year. So, yay for that, and that's how much you'll get paid, dates that you'll get paid, so there's that. You will also, either later today or later this week, it's supposed to be today or tomorrow, you will receive an email from that lovely portal that you did upon your application. You filled out something called paychecks, and that was essentially your paperwork for the job. So there's not a whole lot you have to do now that you have the job. But one thing you do have to do is formally accept on paychecks in order to make these payments happen. So that ball's going to be in your court. You will receive an email. When you do receive that email, it will be a generic email, so please make note of that. You must go in and accept the job. If you do not, it will disappear eventually, and you will not be able to accept it, and then you'll have to jump through your hoops in order to get it again, so that you can't get paid. So my point is, pay attention to that. It's basically a button you click, and then you kind of like digitally sign it to accept it. Okay? Any questions about that? Alrighty. Well, that's pretty easy. And I also wanted this class to serve as an opportunity. Some of you may have not ever had a job before, or you have, but you've never seen this weird example of a pay stub that's on here. And part of this is supposed to be education for you. And a lot of us, even some RDs in the room, are seeing this for the first time as they're doing their taxes, they're doing these things. So I just wanted you to have an example of what this looks like. So we're telling you you're getting $42.50 for the year, but guess what? That money doesn't actually end up all in your bank account because there's things like taxes and things like all that other stuff on there, PA income tax, Beaver Falls, all that fun stuff. And so those aren't accurate numbers by any means. This is just an example, like I said. But you'll start to see those things. So please note that you will not see all that money in full that way. And it's not because we're withholding any funds from you. It's because the government is. So just be aware of that. If you have any questions, we will do our best to answer them from what we know about these things. But Human Resources, which is in Old Main, they're ultimately your go-to for those questions. But we can definitely be a liaison if you need that help or walk you over there, whatever that means. Okay? Any other questions about that? Okay, if you do, just ask this. Again, the job description's there. We want you to take this job description seriously. It's not just something we write down because we have to. We actually put a lot of attention and effort into updating this and making sure it's accurate for you. So that when something comes up, we all know that you are involved and you're busy and you have schedules, but we're asking you to make this job a priority. Your work as a student is your number one priority, and then your work as a resident assistant is your number one work priority, right? So it falls right next to that, being a student. And so we ask you to be intentional with the dates and those things that we give you, which you'll get more specific dates as time goes on. But we have been known in the past to be flexible, and we are, but we also still take the job seriously, and we want you to take it seriously and make sure you're present at these things, because if you're not present in the resident's life, you're not doing the job that we want for you and that our students need from you. And so we ask you to be present and available and ready for those things. You all, in addition to that, in the application process, had filled out something that we called I always forget what it's called, commitment calculator, right? It was called a calendar, and that's not what it is. And so your RDs are going to be talking to you more specifically about your commitments for the upcoming year and what that looks like. And as you, from this point on, you need to be having conversation with your RD about what your commitments look like. And as far as that goes, as far in advance you can be communicating, the better. That's going to be better on you. It's going to be better for the other things you're involved in. It's going to be better for those people. It's going to be better for your schoolwork. And so we need you to be communicating those things, because we know that you're involved, and we know you have, and we want you to be, but we need to have that communication happening. And so if you know you're someone that's last minute saying, oh my gosh, like totally forgot about this, and you're saying it the night before, or even the week before, sometimes that is not helpful. And we need you to be thinking far out and being intentional with those things, okay? There is another paper that I should have had you all filling out. So this class, the hope for this class is to engage the topic of residence life, the topic of community, the topic of interacting, what it means to interact with other people, and to build community is a word that you're like, oh yeah, I'm in RA class, of course we're talking about community. But we're going to talk about it hopefully in a more intentional way. And so we have the syllabus. Please don't let it freak you out. It's just, again, to show you kind of what we're looking at, projecting out. We only have 5 classes. This is one of them, so congratulations. You only have 4 more. And the hope is for you to be engaging. We have a book that is super, super small that you will be receiving. It is, you can even see the page numbers there on the back of that syllabus sheet. It is very, it's huge margins and only like 97 pages total, which includes some, the first few pages that are not really reading pages. So, so this is something we want you to engage in. It says building campus community, restorative practice, and residence life, a handbook for resident advisors. That's you. So it is, I want to say it's not old, but it's not new either. It was printed in 2012. And so there's a lot of great material in here, and these authors, they create a lot of different books and handbooks for with the restorative practice principles. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, that's okay, because that's what this book is for. But they had created this one specifically for RAs, and it's actually, I really like it, so we're going to engage it. We haven't done it in a number of years, so even our returners haven't seen this book before. Or maybe they have, but not because of us. So that's what this is. I did as best as I could, and this is where I'm being pushed to be flexible to make sure I had half of these copies, and I ordered another half, and they told me it would be here on Friday, and guess what? I still don't have them. So I have enough for about more than half of us to have a book today. I've made copies of the first chapter. For those that don't get a book today, you will get one. I'll let you know. I'll send out an email saying, hey, you can come pick up your book, or we'll bring them to class next week. So if you're someone who knows you're going to be like, read this really fast, you can grab a book. If you're like, yeah, I'm going to just read the first chapter, that's fine too. That's all you have to read for next week. So so we will have, it won't just be me, we'll have the RDs. They're going to be collaborating to teach these courses and these classes, and the hope is to make it engaging and interactive as best as we can so that you all are interacting with the material that's presented in here. Any questions about all of that I said, because I'm talking really fast? Just wondering if any of you just do this. And raise your hand with questions if you don't feel like you can say yes. RDs, am I missing anything? Things I didn't bring up? Silence. They're all in great. Okay, awesome. So we'll get these out. I'm going to have you get with your teams. Maybe you don't know who your team is. And so I'm going to have the RDs kind of strategically place themselves around the room, and they'll be like, pure and young, come over here. And you'll have some opportunity to have FaceTime with the people that you haven't met yet, and we'll continue to build relationships over the course of next year. All right, you can go ahead with your folks. Find them.
Grab a chair, meet me in that corner.